Hello everyone. Hello my friends and fellow creatives. Thanks for joining me again. If you're coming back, hello to anybody who's finding me in this video. My name is Margaret. This is Maggie Lou Stitches, and this is my Flosstube where I talk all about cross stitch and other related arts and crafts and hobbies, particularly as they relate to cross stitch. And that's relevant today because today I'm going to be talking about Zentangle and cross stitch, because I've been a Zentangle artist since 2013, and Zentangle and cross stitch have so much in common for me. They lend themselves beautifully to each other, and so I want to talk about that a bit more. Since I started this Flosstube, I'm a biographer by profession, and so I've been running through a timeline of my life as it relates to cross stitch and my creative pursuits. And so this is where I'm up to in it, because where we finished off last episode was about 2003 with my Child of Spring sampler, which was the last cross stitch I'd done for now. Yeah, I started again 15 years later. So let me just keep going with that chronology and we'll get us up to what I want to talk about today. After that cross stitch, I then had my two beautiful children, Gillian, who was born in 2003, and Noah, who was born in 2005. And with that came along knitting obsession. And that knitting obsession didn't stop till, honestly, only about a year ago. I have been knitting like a mad woman since then. A few baby clothes, not so many things for my kids as they grow up, because living in Perth, we don't need a lot of knitwear. Anyway, that's knitting. Then in 2013, I saw online one day just an illustration. Somebody had done a little piece of artwork and it looked really interesting to me. It was just a black and white doodle type illustration, and I liked it. And it just had one word written under it, and that word was Zentangle. And I went straight to Google and put in the word Zentangle, because I thought, what does that word mean? What even is that? And I learnt about the Zentangle drawing method. Now, this isn't going to be a lesson about Zentangle. It's not a tutorial, but I am going to cover the basics just for anybody who's not heard of it, who isn't familiar with it, and also to just fill out my story of creativity. So the Zentangle drawing method is a method that was created by Maria Thomas and Rick Roberts. It is a drawing method that anyone can access. You don't have to be an artist at all to do it. In fact, I once heard a West Australian Zentangle teacher, her name's Pauline, and I heard her describe to somebody who was like, oh, I don't know if I could do this. I heard her describe to them, oh, can you draw the letter C? And the person said yes. Can you draw the letter I? And the person said yes. What about a capital L? Yes. What about an O? Yes. What about the letter S? Can you draw that? And the person said yes. And she said, then you can Zentangle. And it is so true, because Zentangle is made up of elemental strokes. A straight line, a squiggly line, a circle. That's pretty much it. And the phrase that goes along with creating Zentangle is, you can create anything one stroke at a time, which is of course referring to the pen strokes used. Let me start showing some Zentangles, because that will, I've said enough about its introduction. Now I can show you the kind of things that I was looking at. I have a box here. Oh, look, there's Charlie. Hi, Charlie. Oh, how cute. I have a box here full of my Zentangle art, and that's not all of it. So, I could sit here for days just pulling out Zentangle art to show you. So I'll just show you some random ones that are basic, pure Zentangle. So the Zentangle method requires a few things. if you're doing it in a purist way, you can sit and Zentangle on anything. However, Zentangle Inc., the company that Rick and Maria started, they sell tools. This is called a tile, and it has their branding on the back of it. It's a particular type of paper that they researched as being the best one for the type of drawing methodology that this is. A Sakura Micron pen, and this one's so little I've sharpened it so much. But pencil, this one's a Zentangle one, but a pencil. They're the only three things you need to create a Zentangle tile in its purest form. Its method is very simply, you begin with a blank space and you are open to the creativity available on that. Using your pencil, you do 4 light dots in the corners, wherever. Using your pencil, you join those dots, and that creates a frame. It can be rough as guts. Everything is freestyle, hand-drawn. No rulers, no precision, no nothing. The next thing you do in preparation of this tile that you're going to Zentangle on is you give it a string. And it's called a string because you imagine if a string was dropped onto this and it just fell in a certain way, that's kind of what this line represents. So you just, there's a string. And that is the basis of drawing a Zentangle. Once you do that, you then select a tangle, step-by-step instructions for how to draw a particular repeating pattern. And Zentangle Inc. have created lots and lots of Zentangles. I think they're up to over 100 more now, but so have the Zentangle community. There's a website called tanglepatterns.com, and oh my goodness, what a treasure trove of tangle instructions are there. There are other websites as well. That's the main one I use. So I still haven't shown you any. Let's just, these are some examples. So there's a little tile. There's a little tile. Oh, see what I mean? I'm just going to be sitting here going, here's a little tile. And all of these are created with just the method I just showed you. You just start by that, and then you pick up your black pen and you begin creating. Now from there, it goes, that's the purest form of Zentangle, doing this, and doing it is such a Zen experience. Oh my goodness, I have loved it so much. Is that mine? Oh, that is mine. Sometimes my husband became a Zentangle artist as well, and sometimes we have such different styles. Anyway, I'll stop showing these because we will be here all day. Oh, there was one cute one I just saw. This one's really simple. I like this, and it's not in a baggie either. So simple. Okay, that's in its purest form. Then you can actually get different shaped tiles and start working on those. There are little triangle ones, round ones. And what I became really fond of and did a lot with, oh, let me, which one? Oh, these are called opus tiles. They are big. This one's in a glass frame, as you can tell. So this takes Zentangling quite to the next level, because this takes, mine, I would spend approximately 40 hours on these. Oh, and that's it. These involve a fair bit of shading as well. You can see that in the middle there. That's the other thing the pencil is used for after doing the pen work. Shading helps to really make it pop. So I spent years, like I said, I learned about this in 2013, and the next couple of years, even though anybody can do it, as a beginner, straight away, you can do a tile straight away. However, like anything, it's still a matter of just sort of getting really familiar with the methodology and getting really comfortable with it, and quietening the critic that says, oh, is this good enough? Oh, I don't know, I see such beautiful ones. There are some Zentangle artists that are just quite esteemed in the Zentangle world for their beautiful, beautiful work. I'm thinking of Michele Beauchamp from Tasmania. My goodness, she is just known as one of the most beautiful Zentangle artists. Actually, I have one. She gifted me one of her Zentangles. I'll put a picture of it here because I can't, I'd have to flip through this book too much, but there are so many beautiful Zentangle artists out there that it can become like anything, such a high form of art that you just think, oh no, I'm not going to be able to do that. But honestly, following those steps that I just mentioned, anybody can Zentangle. That's what I love about it. So, you know, I also have this book here, which is all of my opus tiles that I've done through the years, because I came to love, oh, this is really awkward, isn't it? I came to love Zentangling on opus tiles the most. I still probably creating on a small tile daily was a daily Zen practice for sure, for years. Oh, the other thing that, you know, this is called a Renaissance tile. Renaissance sort of referring to the colour. And there's also adding colour to, oh, I like this one. I still love Zentangle. I know what'll happen after this. I'll do more. Now, but one thing that I want to talk about. So, okay. One thing that I love about both Zentangle and cross stitch is the community that has built up around each of them. They are the kindest, most enthusiastic, most sharing, willing, joyful communities I have found. So I was a part of the Zentangle community in a very engaged way for a long time, and gosh, I made some lovely friends, but one in particular I became such good friends with. She is my good friend Franciose. She lives on the other side of the country to me. We met, and I think she had the idea of doing, oh no, here comes Charlie. Where will she end up? Of doing combined tangles. And by that, I'll show you one that I haven't actually finished this one, whereby she would start tangling on an opus tile, wouldn't finish it, and she'd send it to me to complete it. Or we'd do it by quarters. She'd do a quarter, then I'd do a quarter, then I'd send it back to her, and she'd do a quarter, and then I'd do a quarter. And we did these tangles together for years. This is one that she has sent me that I haven't started on yet, and she sent it in 2021. But there have been many. She's created this. There's lots and lots of white space there to finish it, and that's my job, and I will get to it. But I think this is our first one. This is what reminded me of it. I saw this one. This is my favorite. Hold on. They have names. This one is called Whirling Dervish. We did that together. We think we're the cleverest two people on earth, and our friendship has just remained so strong, even though both of us have sort of moved away from Zentangle as a daily practice. In fact, I don't know the last time that's why I did Zentangle. I do talk to her about that sometimes. We talk about, yeah, we'll get back to it, but there are other hobbies, aren't there? Okay, I'll stop showing these now, because look at the gift that I got from, I'm going all over the place, I know it. My friend, Chloe Petra, made this for me, and I absolutely love this. It is my own little travel Zentangle box. And so in it is everything I need to do a little Zentangle on the go. A tile, a pen, a pencil. There's a little rubber down there. Now, rubbers, you do not need erasers, whatever they're called in which country you're watching from. But you don't use them. You don't need to. The only reason I do sometimes is just a bit of cleanup at the end. Sometimes when you're shading, it can just bleed over lines a bit. That doesn't matter, but sometimes I just go around and clean up if I've smudged pencil anywhere I don't need to. But anyway, that is something that I love. And I just love that when a hobby inspires the sharing of another person's hobby. You know, she does woodwork, clearly, and saw the need for that. I love that. Right, needlework. Because what happened at a certain point, it was about 2018, I got inspired by needlework again. Was that going to be cross stitch? Was that going to be tapestry? What was that going to be? I didn't know, but I wanted to try lots of different things and see what was going to inspire me in terms of needlework, and how my new love of Zentangle would, how they'd fit together. Obviously from my description of Zentangle, you can easily see why they're so similar. In cross stitch, she's come on my lap. In cross stitch, we create the most beautiful pictures, 1x at a time. One little cross, that's all we have to focus on. And if you just focus on each little cross in its just fullness, in the end, you'll have a beautiful picture. And that's very much what happens with Zentangle. You don't set out to create. I didn't set out to create this. You just start with each little line. I don't even know where I would have started on this one. Perhaps, I don't know, because you just start. You pick a tangle, and you just start its first stroke, and all you focus on is a stroke at a time. Same with cross stitch, right? Okay, so, one of the reasons I became interested in needlework again was I actually became aware of the needlework artist Trish Burr, who is known for her thread painting skills, books, art. Boy, is that beautiful. And I just sort of thought, I wonder if I'd like to do that. It feels like something I'd like to be accomplished in. Like, it's such delicate work, and it can create such fine color changes. Oh, it's very beautiful. And so I decided to try to start experimenting with thread painting using my Zentangle art. I'll show you an example of that, which means, okay, Charlie, oh, don't get cranky at me. Oh, she's gonna get really cranky at me. Now, I wish I had the tile here. Hold on, because I might... How am I going to find it in this whole box? That is not possible, Maverick. But imagine if I just plucked it out. Oh, look at this one. This isn't the one I was going to tell you, but sometimes it's as simple as circles. There's only circles in that. I love that. Right. Oh, I did just find it. Okay. So this tile, I thought, I wonder if I can use thread to recreate that. So I started with black and white, and I thought I'll use the same dimensions that Zentangle uses. And that was my first attempt. All right, Charlie's gone now. Get out of the way. Yeah. Now, that was a very rudimentary beginning, and I was also trying different colors to achieve the shine here, just to see what was going to work best. That was my first attempt, so, you know, good on me. But then I decided, well, what about with color? So this is my attempt at the beginning of thread painting, and what I discovered was I didn't know if I had the patience for it. I kind of did, but I just wasn't sure. But either way, I was feeling so exploratory about Zentangle and needlework that I sort of then expanded from thread painting and to try different methods. This is not thread painting because I'm using solid colors. This is more like just satin stitch. This was obviously based off another tangle, and I just picked a color palette and just did that. Not my favorite, but it's just me practicing. And again, as you can see, like that's the size of a tile. And I just thought, what if I just start doing needlework to the size of a tile, you know, with the same elements, just not necessarily black and white, but maybe black and white or color, but just pick a palette, pick a stitch. Now, that's where it got interesting, pick a stitch, because there are other couple of stitches that I love to do. I love to do French knots and I love to do chain stitch. And so I started exploring with them, kind of using the Zentangle method in my brain, and I did a couple of these. So this is purely French knots. I sewed a frame and I just did French knots in the middle as it occurred to me. Now, that was satisfying. I did like that. I thought, oh, I'm onto something here. So I stuck with French knots for a little bit and tried it on different fabrics. Oh, because you can get black Zentangle tiles too. Oh, I wish I had my black ones here. I love doing anything on black. So, you know, I was just experimenting with just French knots. And again, is that the same size as I was obviously? Yes, it is. Good on me. So then I thought, okay, well, good, I can do that. I don't know that I wanted to keep doing it though. But the chain stitch, then I did some experiment with that. And this is in silks as well. I loved doing this one. Just how easy, because there's a tangle that's kind of like the chain stitch as well. So it was just easy to just put all those flowers in, give them stalks. Give them a French knot center. It was very satisfying. Loved that, loved it. Now then it was time to look more at Zentangle's, how do I describe this? Yeah, this is how I'll describe this. What's this tangle called? Okay, I'll put up the word for this tangle because I can't remember it. I know it. It's a Zentangle ink tangle. And I created this out of circles. So I would have done a tile like this with those. And so I decided to recreate that with needle and thread. That was quite interesting too. One of the things that I discovered that I have a bit of a problem with is there doesn't have to be any symmetry in Zentangle. There doesn't have to be any perfection. Things don't have, and you can see that here. These legs aren't all perfect. It's all very organic. Now, I really appreciate that in Zentangle, that there's no perfection. There's no lining things up to get the angles right. There's none of that. You just draw. But sometimes I would find when I'd finished a piece like this, it would actually bother me a bit. It shouldn't. I mean, it shouldn't. I should not be bothered. But I think that's just something that for me, cross stitch has a little bit over these other methods, is its precision. The X's all meet, they blend. I love that. But anyway, I quite enjoyed doing that too. This is another tangle. Once upon a time, I would have been able to tell you these tangle names off the top of my head, but I'm sort of not in Zentangle world as much as I used to be. I really enjoyed doing this one, picking a colour palette and just going for it and just letting it build. I didn't plan this out. I did the French knots in the middle. I knew I wanted to use this, again, as a tangle where you, with your pen, you go under and over different strokes, and I thought that'll work with thread. You actually do the threads under and over. You don't, oh, Charlie's about to sit on my cross stitch that I need to show you soon. Hold on. Yes, with Zentangle, let me see if I can see one here where there's the concept of over and under. Obviously you're trying to achieve that effect with pen. Like here, this line is going under that one. This one is going over. So you're achieving that here, but I thought, well, with thread, you really can. You can go over and under. So that was quite fun. I wanted to try more satin stitch. This was just an experiment. Oh, so that was just an experiment. There was another thing. Bargello. Mum had done some Bargello needlework back in the 70s and 80s, and she'd let me do some of hers. and it's so rhythmic because it's the same length stitches each time, just moved by increments to make a shape. And so I created one. Hold on, let me just get my Bargello stitching. I can't find it, so I'll find it later and put a picture in here. This is also where I wanted to experiment with working on different sizes of mesh. This was a really fine mesh that I used, and I wanted to explore that. And to be honest, at the time I thought, this is it. I'm going to delve into the world of Bargello again, and really, this is it. It wasn't. After doing that, I don't know, it was good, but it didn't make me, oh, I want to do another one, I want to do another one. It didn't do that, sort of like cross stitch has. I experimented with tapestries a little bit using the Zentangle method, using wool and just picking out a palette and just sewing lines and seeing what happened. This is a bit more symmetry, Bargello like. Oh, this is a Bargello, it's not the one I was thinking of, but that kind of thing. So I was exploring all of these things to see if, you know, where in the world of needlework do I want to go? And it was, hi crow, there's a crow at my front door. There's a bird bath out there too. You could just have a bath or a drink. Hi. Crows are very noisy here, and that's okay. We love crows. We love them. Oh my goodness, look at all of these. I've got like piles and piles of them. So many. Oh, sorry, now I'm just, oh, look at this one. Speaking of colour, exploring metallics. I love that one. Any others in here? Oh, that one's pretty. Sweet. Oh, I like that one a lot. Okay, stop it. I framed some of my Zentangles as well. And the reason I did that, this was the first Zentangle that I did that I really thought like, oh, I'm getting somewhere with this. This is an art form that I feel connected to, that I am enjoying, that I want to explore more. Maybe I'd been doing it for 6 months or so at this time, and it's like I wanted to commemorate that moment for me and just go, this is important. So I went and had this one framed, and I still love it, even though, you know, this was July 2013. There we go. Just stop. Now, I haven't been Zentangling. So here's theoretically how I'd like my creative life to go. Theoretically, I would like to have an opus tile sitting out here on the table in process, where I'm working on that. You know, I come and sit down and do a bit of Zentangle. I would like to have my project going, a cross-stitch project going in my stitchy spot where I sit down and do a bit of that. I have my piano that I'm learning. I'd like to sit down and do an hour of that every day. And I'd like just to cycle through those creative pursuits as I do my life, as I live. What really happens is I just sit down and cross stitch. So I haven't Zentangled for a while. I'm just looking at these words on the back of the Zentangle opus tile, and they really speak to what it's all about, which is mindfulness, intriguing, perspective, mysterious, relaxing, practice, magical, gift, simple, focus, complicated, ceremony, powerful, ritual, encouraging, metaphor, beautiful. I agree. So what I thought I would do is, much like my cross stitch, which I'll show you in a minute where I'm up to with my current work in progress, I'm going to start an opus tile, and in every Flosstube I'm going to show you where I'm at with it. I was going to do that before this video, but then I knew if I sat to do that, I'd potentially get so absorbed in that and time would get away from me and I might not get to doing this video. So I decided that's okay. After this video, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to create a frame with my pencil, and a string of some sort. Now with my opus tiles, I do formalize that a little bit more. I don't just do a random string. I like opus tiles to have a bit more structure. So sometimes I get a bread and butter plate and I use that as a circle frame, or various things. I might just pick up anything that's at hand. And now that I'm saying that, I can't find anything at hand that I would do it with. But I just pick up something and just, you know, trace around it a few times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a picture in here afterwards of the frame, and then I'll select tangles and I'll start tangling on it, and I'll show you where I get to with the next one, and you can sort of see an opus tile being constructed along with my stitching. Yep. Yeah. Okay, a bit all over the place. Let's get back to stitching and let me show you my current work in progress, because I've been getting some really good stitching time in on it and it's been very interesting. This is Little Garden, a Carolyn Manning design, and here we go. Now last time I showed it to you, it was just the central sort of circular panel, and since then I've been working out into the edges. So I've got quite a bit done on that. I think it's looking absolutely beautiful. Gosh, I think I love everything when that blue is the backdrop, which is fortunate. But there's one thing I've discovered doing this. I don't know if I'm going to do this or not, but I think this is crying out for some beading, a little bit of beading bling. So I'm sort of thinking I want to do that. These are one colour motifs that you create. There's not a lot of blending of colour. They are separate motifs that complement each other. And I kind of miss doing the more blended, the more full coverage type of stitching, which is just as well because I've just started kitting up to start Butterfly that I mentioned last episode. So that will be the next project after this, so that will satisfy this. So I love how this is looking. I don't know that I love stitching it as much as other types, but I don't hate it and I want to get it finished. So that is Little Garden, and that's coming along very well. Oh, I wanted to talk about a couple of Flosstubers that I'm really enjoying at the moment. So I just want to share who I'm enjoying watching. I'm just going to talk about two at the moment. One is Sadie Garita, and she is in Bangor, Maine in the States, and she's got about 11 or 12 floss tubes, and I found her at, you know, number 10 or something, and I've gone back and watched from the beginning. My goodness, I enjoy her floss tubes. She has really good fabric choices that make a really interesting contribution to the patterns she chooses. The patterns she chooses are very different to mine. She likes a lot of series. So she'll do, you know, she's doing, oh look, I'm not going to tell you what she's doing. I just really enjoy Sadie Garita's channel, so I'm going to put that here. I look forward to every time she drops a new one. And the other is Dace Man. Now Dace is British, and oh my goodness, the variety of projects that Dace does and the way he presents them and his lovely, calm personality and his creativity. He's doing a pride piece that's fully beaded at the moment. Oh my goodness. Maybe that's why I've been thinking about beads for Little Garden. Oh, he's doing a miniature version of, I think it's Ragnarok, a long dog sampler, but tiny. It's exceptional, like on really high thread count, really beautiful. So many pieces. Everything Dace does is just so inspiring, and I so enjoy his channel as well. So I just want to mention those because yeah, that's what I've been watching. Plenty of others, and as I remember others and want to talk about them, I will do so through more episodes, but I just wanted to mention those to share the love in this Flosstube community. I think that's almost got us up to present day. Next time I've got a couple more cross stitches to show you that I've finished in the last couple of years, and I'll show you more progress on what I've been working on. It's going to be interesting from here on because I've spent a lot of time going through the history of my creativity and what I've been creating over the last 55 years. But there's going to come a point where we're up to date on my timeline, and then I'm just like, this is what I'm working on. Especially because and I heard a new word for this the other day and I like it, especially because I'm monogamish. Very good. So at the moment I do only have Little Garden going. I can see now why it would be good to have a few different projects in rotation, because I am getting a little bit sick of it. Well, I don't know. I feel like I feel like I'm betraying my cross stitch by saying that. I do. I feel like it's going, what? I thought you loved me. I do. But I do see the point in having different projects that are very different for the mood that you're in for stitching. So I think I might move a bit more that way, but we'll see how I go with butterfly. But yeah, so it'll be interesting in future episodes. They should be 5 minutes long, but we'll see. Oh, look, thank you for joining me today to hear all about Zentangle and cross stitch. Both Zen pursuits that I just find put me in a relaxed state of creativity, and that's the state I like to be in. It really helps me with all the other areas of my life. And come say hi in the comments. I love it when you do. Thank you for everybody who has come and done that and who says lovely encouraging things to me about this Flosstube of mine. Ask any questions, share with me anything of your stitching journey, or your Zentangle journey if you're a Zentangle artist as well. I think that's it for this time. So thank you. Go enjoy your stitching or any of your artwork that you do. I'll see you here again next time. Thanks. Bye.